Kaheem Parris in, Cory Burke out, the possible game-changing replacement for Copa America? Join us for this discussion. Welcome to Premier 7 yet again. I am your host, as you should know, Rayon Nelson. Today I want to speak on an important matter surrounding the Jamaica men's national team, where preparation is concerned for the Copa America. Jamaica has been performing on a level for which the fans are satisfied to some extent, and we want for the national team in the Reggae Boys to be better as they go along. Of course, we should understand that the national team has been in search for big names tirelessly, namely a Mason Greenwood, a Gibbs White, even a Jacob Ramsey. But it seems quite difficult to get those names over the line. The similarity between those three names mentioned is that they're all attacking players, and Jamaica has players who possibly could be called upon because of the fact that they were homegrown but have been playing in Europe. And that is the reason why I want to speak about the topic. Kaheem Parrish in, Cory Burke out. The possible game changing replacement for Copa America. You may be thinking or saying that I am bringing in a Kaheem Parrish because of what happened to Cory Burke against the United States. Not necessarily that's the reason though. It is more than that. And I am going to speak volume of such. Today on the channel I want to do a general introduction on both players indeed. Then along the way comparisons by way of the transfer market, Sofascore, and before I close the show, I want to let you know why will it be important for Jamaica to consider using a Kaheem Parris to replace a Cory Burke. Alright, so let's jump right into the details. So, a general introduction for both players. Starting off with Mr. Kaheem Parrish. So, Mr. Kaheem Parrish is 24. He was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and he attended the Dintil Technical High School, a very technical school, whereas football is concerned. And I have been to Dintil before, but not for football purposes, but where other sports is concerned. But I know persons who went there. And Dintil has been a school that is properly groomed, whereas football talent is concerned. Long and behold, um, Mr. Kaim Parrish is a winger, mainly a right winger, but he's two-footed. And he's currently on loan right now in Europe, but throughout his career, where senior football is concerned, he kicked off at Cavaliers for about 2 years or 3 years, 39 appearances, 8 goals, and then he went to Europe. But he had some bright spells, right? Whereas he played for Cooper in 2021 to 22, 41 appearances and 11 goals. But before that, he went on loan to Carca, KRKA for the spelling, 19 appearances, 16 goals in 2020-21 season. So you can realize that even though it's in Europe, this youngster, he have the potential to represent Jamaica. But let's talk about Cory Burke because it's a comparative video. For Mr. Burke though, he's way older, 32 years of age. He's a forward, mainly as a forward, but Mr. Burke, he went to Olaba High School. And of course, that is a school that is absolutely amazing. A school that has name. A school that is good in almost everything, if not everything. Where cricket is concerned, football, I think even altogether sing if you're a singer, then you can think about Olaba. So Mr. Burke is a no nonsense scholar because his school is a blessing, of course. But whereas football um, career is concerned, of course, he started for a team here in Jamaica, Volley United, right? Um, 77 appearances, 26 goals between 2013 to 2016. And, along the way went to teams outside of Jamaica, even though he came back to Portmore United in 2019 on loan. But he did fairly well when he went to Philadelphia Union 2018 to 22, 93 appearances, 25 goals. Absolutely amazing. And he has been playing for Jamaica since 2016 up to this current moment, whereas he made 31 appearances, 9 goals. So, for the general introductory segment, if you want to at least draw a small conclusion, you will say that Mr. Burke is more experienced. He plays for Jamaica more than a parish, and a lot more Jamaicans would somewhat consider him as being the ideal man to go to Copa America. I have no issues with persons having their own opinion. But whereas the output, whereas goal is concerned and assist is concerned, I think Cory Burke is rusty in that department. And as I've said before, I mentioned some names, overseas based names, that are very hard to get in at this moment. And to call up our own in a Kaheem Parish, I think calling him up quite earlier than late would be a good thing because he will get that chance to get accustomed to the reggae boys, right? Now, I want to just jump away from the general introductory discussion for the players and talk about the transfer market details. Let's start off with Mr. Kaye. So, currently, he's on loan, but look at this. In terms of appearances, 28, 4 goals, 6 assists. And most times, he has been playing in excess of 50 minutes. 67% starting 11, 66% in terms of minutes, 24% goal participation. Yes, we can talk about the league, but we can also talk about the MLS. This shows that Kaheem is utilized quite often, so he's getting some game time underneath his belt. And if he wasn't up to par, then I don't think he will be given any game time. Mr. Parrish is showing us that he's capable of performing. And he's flexible even though he's mainly a right winger. At the end of the day, Jamaica doesn't even have right wingers. I think only Kaim Dixon is the only right winger that we have. Bob Reed is mainly an attacking midfielder. So Kaim Parris as a right winger could be a good addition. And also he can play in the midfield as a right midfielder. But also, since our precious Demarai Gray is injured, Shifaz is considered to go to Copa America because to me it's brilliant, but having depth and players who can play in numerous systems, you have to look on things like those. And as I've mentioned before, it's very young, age 24. But look on the statistics. Look on how this guy is making his name be known in Europe. But of course, I want to speak about Mr. Cory Burke because I want to tell the truth. I am somewhat of a fan of Mr. Cory Burke because when Jamaica is playing in games, I always say, put on Mr. Burke because he has that energy level, that rate for which you can say, when you put on a Cory Burke, he will never stop running. He will never stop, he will never give up. And that is the attitude that I love about Mr. Burke. But so far for his team, though, not really getting any game time. Not really getting any game time for New York Red Bulls, even though he is a player for which a lot of persons know because he's capable of even scoring goals. So 4 appearances, 1 goal, but nothing in regards to starting 11 and minutes. It's minimal. But Mr. Burke is mainly, as we know, known for as a centre forward. But Jamaica has several forwards though. Low, Antonio, Bowser. Do we need a next striker? People, I'm not trying to push aside Mr. Corberg, but I'm trying to pick a squad or help to select a squad for Jamaica that could possibly do better in Copa America. Remember that we have never yet exit the group. Not to say exit by way of not making it out, right? I am talking about making it out this time. We never make it out of the Copa America group stage, and we want for a difference to be made. We don't want to pressure our players, but whereas effective performance is concerned, that is something for which I hold dearly to my heart. All right, so in that case, we're seeing whereas players are being compared, and I think Kaheem Parris at this moment is leading the race because he has been playing more games than Cory Burke. He has been scoring goals, he has been assisting, and also, I mean, whereas selection is concerned, yes, Mr. Burke has been playing for Jamaica way more than a Paris, but whereas conversion is considered as a frontline player, Cory Burke is nowhere close at the moment. And I'm going to prove this with even some more details by way of a sofa score report. Alright, so I mean, people, I want the best for Jamaica. I want for us to do well in Copa America and beyond, and not because of Mr. Kaim Paris' age. It is not the main reason why I want him to be in the squad. Let's look on the attributes for this player. Look at his attribute as a frontline player. Because he's a forward. We're talking about forward, whether it's a winger or a forward, he's a forward. Put it like that, but not a striker. Right? So, Kaheem Parris, whereas his technicality is concerned, 72%. If you watch this guy, his dribbling ability is good. Left footed, right footed. You really don't know which foot he really used because he's somewhat similar to a Demarai Gray. And if you have players like this who you can use to confuse opposition players because you don't understand which foot they're going to use, then it is somewhat brilliant for Algrimson's system. Not the long kick, the long balls. We need players who are technical in the national team. Whereas a technical team is concerned, I think this man can do it for Jamaica. His attacking prowess, 57%, that needs to improve. His creativity, 54%, it will improve along the way. But one of his major strengths is that of ball control. So whenever Mr. Loden push the pass to him, he can control it. Whether the play swapped or switched, long or on the ground, he should be able to control because it is one of his strengths. And there's no significant weakness. I think this player has the potential to do well for Jamaica. And of course, in that case, people consider him because he has played for Jamaica before, but has not been given so much of the time to cement his spot. Is it a late call? We don't want that. We want for you to consider him as early as possible. Look on him how he's playing for his team in Europe. Because he's from Dynamo Kevin, but he's on a loan. And if you look on him daily and assess him, then you could have a better assessment of his performances, and you can say, all right, let's consider him for Copa America. No, let's look on Cory Burke. Remember, Mr. Burke is not playing much in the MLS. This is the case in which they're saying that, all right, keep Cory Burke for Jamaica to play against the teams in the Copa America group stage because they want for him to dominate. I don't think so. So he has no outstanding strength and no outstanding weaknesses, which is fair enough. But this is the main thing that I'm concerned about is attributes as well. So where technicality is concerned for Mr. Burke, is not close to a Kaheem. 47 for a technical player. To me, that's a red flag. Creativity, 40. Kaheem is 54. An attacking prowess is 56. Kaheem is 57. The defensive mechanism of the team, they will need to be a part of it. And I know Burke is more defensive than a Kaheem. But if you have the right players in place to defend the team, whereas the midfield and the backline is concerned, you don't want for your frontline player to be doing so much, even though it is important. But the ideal responsibility of the forwards and the strikers is to score goals. And looking at these, you're seeing that Kaheem Parris is outdoing Mr. Cory Burke. But look at this now. Mr. Burke played yesterday, or not yesterday, but I think on the 15th he played for New York Red Bulls and they defeated DC United. He scored in the 93rd minute, and that is applaudable because we know that Mr. Burke can score goals. But I will choose a Kaheem Parrish because the fact that he's younger is not the main reason, but technicality, being more direct, being more goal driven, and participating to contribute to that for Jamaica, I think it's a no brainer. So, how this guy Karim Paris replacing Corberg could help Jamaica in the Copa America system? I'm not saying that he'll be selected, but I think he have something to prove or can bring something different to Jamaica. Remember I mentioned earlier on that Jamaica doesn't have much of right wingers. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that because I like to prove what I'm saying. So this is the Jamaica squad that we have. You know, there could be more players there, but look on where the forward line is concerned, really and truly. So Mr. Williams is a centre forward. I think he's more technical than a Mr. Burke and more dominant than a Mr. Burke. We have Cory Burke here, Low, that is Jamal Low, Shamar Nicholson. So do we need four strikers? I don't think so. So I would take Nicholson, a Romario, and a Low. And I don't think the time will come soon enough for us to get in a Mason Greenwood or anyone else. I have to stick to these persons that I know is already existing. But where a right winger is concerned, we only have one right winger in Mr. Kaim Dixon. So why not taking in Paris? who is technical, who is goal oriented, who understands his game, who is getting a lot of game time in Europe, it's up for consideration. Cephas is a left winger, Gray is a left winger, Bobby Reed and Mr. Casey Palmer and Daniel Johnson are attacking midfielders. So where's the balance? We don't have Leon Bailey right now. So I think bringing in a right winger who can play on either end, who have good ball control, ball retention, technical skills, who is not a high profile player who is like to say, all right, we know about him. That could be the underlying trick because if players can study your players from an opposition end, then I mean, long and behold, they will know how to beat you. But when you have technical players in a Kaheem Parris, then you will have to really and truly study him properly because he has the potential to dismantle your team. So that should prove to you that Jamaica's squad is stingy, whereas right winger is concerned. And how could he help Jamaica? How could he help Jamaica? Right? How? I'm going to tell you how he will. So, I mean, Jamaica has not been scoring a lot of goals where goals is concerned, and I mean, Kaim Paris is somebody I know Jamaican fans are even thinking about, regardless of not getting games for Jamaica that much. I'm not here for the chaos, I'm just here to share my opinion. When you look on his dribbling potential, you don't need for your midfielders to be doing all that much in terms of dribbling. But when you give a Kaim the ball, then he can even provide assistance for the midfielders who could go forward more because he can take the ball from a deeper end on the right hand side, make some good runs, find players through the channel like a Casey Palmer, or even well, if he's even fit to play for the national team, Demarai Gray, you know, they can score goals because of his ability to dribble and make good passes. He doesn't fumble the ball that much like a Cory Burke. Come on, Cory Burke is a striker and Paris is a winger, but to me, Kaim Paris will make a lot more impact than a Cory Burke because Cory Burke has played for Jamaica 31 times, 9 goals. How much of a dominant striker he is for Jamaica? How much impact can he have for Jamaica in a lot of games if you compare that to a Kaim? I think Kaim Paris will outdo him because of his technical skills and his natural instincts, maybe because of Dintil, to do better. I'm not bashing anybody again. I am just sharing my opinion. Running through the lines, passing balls through the channel, controlling the ball properly, making passes where they necessary, bamboozling defenders. Kaim has the edge over a Cory Burke. And a Cory Burke may be only stronger, but strength doesn't play football in all cases. So, as I've said before, I'm not using the game against Burke, whereas the own goal was being scored. It could happen to anyone. What I'm seeing, whereas even longevity is concerned and for the future of Jamaica football, I'm not saying push aside Mr. Burke because I think Mr. Burke, if he's given the chance to play in Copa America and beyond, then Jamaica will take him to the World Cup because he's like a mini Tuffy Anderson in terms of willingness. And you have a slight look of a Mr. Thuram from Inter Milan, the French striker. So you never know what can happen. But I just want to select a more technical team for Jamaica because the Copa America isn't all about physicality, but technicality is on a high level there because they're going to play against teams that are in South America. But people, what's your thought on the topic? Kaim Paris in, Coburg out, the possible game-changing replacement for Copa America. Share your thoughts because I will be able to reply. Take care and goodbye until then.